Marcus.
Hello. Hey, Janice. It's great to hear from you.
Thank you so much for just meeting a total stranger on Reddit. Of course, I go to the Dream subreddits and I found you there.
That's what the internet is for. Sending love always. I think we find each other. People find each other who are meant to find each other. So this is just evidence of that.
There was just something about the comment that you wrote. You just seemed super connected, and I wanted to know more. So thank you so much for coming on to Dream Conduit.
I also am on Reddit just about every day. It's kind of nice just to scroll through people's comments and just their lives and what they're going through.
Yeah, people are very real on Reddit. And one of my guilty pleasures is reality shows. So I feel like it's a way that I'm participating in a reality show.
I agree. I think your social media should always entertain you, but you should always be entertained by healthy things. So
Yes.
you don't want to get too sucked into the what is it? You can sort by controversial by some topics and some comment sections. So I usually stay away from that. But in the Dream subreddit, I love dream analysis and dream interpretation. There's so much metaphor that you can kind of use your brain to interpret. If you're into narrative thinking or using your brain to think a plot of a book or a movie, you can kind of pick out those same pieces in your dream. And so that's what I look for. And some people's posts are really good at describing that stuff. And I'm like, oh, that represents that. And that represents that, at least for me.
Wow. You go through people's dreams and sometimes you comment back and say, hey, this is what I think it means.
Absolutely. If they're putting it out there, I think I am definitely free to give my 2 cents just because it's the internet. But I think it starts from just a long history of just talking about my dreams with my family. We were all pretty vocal people about kind of waking up and sharing about our dreams and our days. My father specifically has such vivid dreams that are very clear. And so he's very good at explaining them the next morning. And so he's always been my inspiration in terms of remembering my dreams and lucid dreaming. So I have many good stories from him.
Are you able to share one of those stories?
Oh, sure. If you want to hear one, I'm definitely happy to share about my own dreams, my family's dreams. They're definitely down.
Yes, I'm down. And I want to hear about your lucid dreaming adventures too.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I'm always practicing, so it's always getting better and better, I feel. But yeah, okay, so I'll give you a good one that was most recent with my father, that he told me probably a week ago or less. So this is fresh. This is very fresh. So he had a dream, and my father is, I don't want to out his age or anything, but he's in his 70s. So he's lived a very, very long life. He's grown up around the TV being black and white all the way to where we're at now with 75-inch flat screen TVs streaming Netflix. So he's a very big fan of just kind of the old ways and the new ways. So he's a big inspiration for media. So, but his dreams are very old fashioned and usually black and white and monochromatic, which is, I think, a fun fact.
That is a fun fact. I heard a theory about people who grew up with black and white TVs often dream in black and white. Whoa.
Sure, and the newspapers and the comics were also probably also black and white. They definitely had color print, but I think it's whatever media you're used to as a kid is kind of what sticks to your subconscious at first. So I think in a lot of Game Boy video games settings and stuff.
Huh.
But yeah. So in this dream, my dad said that his mother, who has passed on and has passed on since I believe the late 80s, asked him and his cousin to fix her back fence because her fence had some holes in it. His cousin, who is alive today with us, said, "Oh, it's too expensive. I don't think we can fix it. We'd have to do this, we'd have to do that." And then my dad just rolled up cool as a cucumber and said, "Hey, no sweat. It's an easy fix. You just got to go down to the Home Depot and grab this kind of chain link, fix it up, blah, blah, blah." And so then in the dream, he updated the fence kind of with magic dream speed. And then afterwards, that cousin's wife, who has also just kind of appeared in the dream, she started doing somersaults, childhood somersaults, and just started jumping around very gleefully for joy. And he was like, whoa. you're not really like this. You typically have chronic pain. So can I take, like, that's a Kodak moment. Can I take a picture? And she was just like, sure, I don't care, as she kept doing her somersaults. All that to say, I interpreted that dream to mean he updated some boundaries. Like, maybe if you want to read it from the lens of ancestors, his ancestors or some type of genealogical trauma came to him in his dream state and said, hey, we need to update some boundaries. Maybe in your life, there's been some holes in the fence. His cousin, who's alive, what if they had the same dream? What if the mother visited both of them in real life and said, hey, I need you to update my fence? One kind of failed the test and one kind of succeeded, which I think is really cool. So that's kind of like the test from the ancestors, which I feel like a lot of dreams have. And then they updated their boundaries, which created an ability for the inner child to be healed of the cousin's wife for some reason, because she was doing somersaults like a child. So I was like, okay, that's pretty simple analysis in my opinion, just because of the inner child, the fences, and the family lineage. But there's a lot also kind of going on right there. So I'll just leave that one as a full dream. But that one for him probably took 3 hours, he said, like living in the dream.
Wow. I love that. And I love what you said about it. I love the way that you look at it. I truly think that for a lot of people, it is not that simple to see dream narratives that way. Now, when you were talking about it, I immediately thought about the idiom mending broken fences that Carl Jung talked about, how our dreaming mind communicates by idioms and just like
Yes.
plays on words and things like that. And so what you said about fixing boundaries, I think that's the key. Yep.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm very thankful that I have a good relationship with my dad where we talk every day about what's going on in life and stuff. And so I've been able to use some of my boundaries, self care, mental health to him. So I think it's kind of leaking through, which is nice to see.
Great job. Okay, what else
Thank
do you
you.
have
Yeah,
for
mine are
us?
not as clear. Mine are much more metaphorical or much more symbolic. Oh goodness, let me see here. My visions are much more clearer when I meditate than when I dream. Typically, like here I'll say, I'm just looking through my notes right now. The other night I was eating a bowl of soup, and I remember in the chaos of the dream, I would not stop eating the bowl of soup. I was very dedicated to it. It seemed healthy. It seemed like it was full of good things. And I just remember like 3 or 4 dreams whizzing by. So I just remember chugging the soup and really being dedicated to finishing all the vegetables and the carrots and stuff and just being very happy and satisfied when it was all done. So like my brain's kind of layered, but every now and then I'll get a little mission to do. So that was just a little snippet, at least, of one. But do you ever eat or drink in your dreams?
That's such a good question. And I'm just imagining the visual of you in the dream, just like I'm so focused on finishing this
Very
soup.
focused. And I believe that there's collective dreamers together. So I'm like asking my friends, hey, did you see me eating soup in your dream last night?
Did anybody see you?
I don't think so.
My first question is, what kind of soup was it?
Yeah, it felt very much like a chicken noodle soup, very homey, very hearty. Sometimes in my dreams I get things that are very much like a warm hug or like a grandma coming over and
Oh,
giving some love. So this felt kind of like that to me, which is always really sweet to feel. Better than a nightmare for sure.
oh, so when I was tuning into that, and that's what I do. Like when people start telling me their dream, I'll just sort of go into this place within and just kind of tune into it. I was like, oh, chicken soup for the soul. So I think that's interesting that you said chicken soup. So
Yes. Oh, big synchronicities there. We're
you
definitely connected.
must you must be going through a part of life where you're warming up, where things are you're literally warming up because of the weather, but um yeah, just
Yeah,
where things are changing for you. Is that sort of your experience right now?
I think so. I think it's self-induced change as I approach 30. And I turned 30 this January, so I'm a Capricorn. So I just felt very focused of like I don't want to waste time. Like whatever I want to do, I just want to do it now. But I also want to do it safely and healthily and quickly and patiently and stuff that's good for my family. So I just have a lot of I don't know, things like that kind of are guiding me, like my north compasses. And it's really cool because a lot of that took me to my spiritual healing path, which took me to more kind of like strengthening my imagination, my visions, my meditations, my yoga, my practice. And now I'm just at the cool part where I can kind of, I call it 5 minute meditations, where I just meditate for 5 minutes on a synchronicity that day. You know, how everyone always has like a bumblebee synchronicity, or maybe like a specific jingle in their ear or a number will show up. So lately I'm just like meditating on that specific thing. And it's making really huge progress for me in terms of like focusing on the imagination part of the vision and holding that projection of like the mind's eye. Because that's what I struggled with the most before. I felt was seeing, being able to interpret the feelings in my body into visions and signals that I can work with, from guides and those beyond, we'll say.
Wow. It's like you bring up five different things that I want to talk about. So now I have to choose one.
Oh my goodness,
But
that's definitely my popcorning. I do that to everybody. I apologize.
no, I love it. Don't apologize. That is great. So, okay, so I had to answer your question from previous. Do I ever eat or drink in a dream? And so this is interesting because I taught a dream class before, and one of the students was also a shaman, or like a shaman in training, let's say. And she said that her mentor had said that don't ever accept food or drink from someone in a dream, because that's a way of, I don't know, like they can, if you eat the thing that they provided, apparently it's like you're doing something to yourself or you're agreeing to some contract. And I'm not saying that this is
Yeah,
what you did in the dream. And I'm not even saying that I believe in that. I'm sure it's a thing, but I don't think
yeah,
it's 100% always a thing. But so I was immediately thinking about that. But a
yeah.
couple of nights ago, I did have a dream where there was food. Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm remembering it really clearly right now. I went up to get some food. I told the guy, oh, I'm ready to order. And he said, oh, I already know what you want. And he handed me my favorite food. And
Oh wow.
I went down and sat down, but I never remember eating that food. So, and I can't remember offhand. Oh, like most of the time I don't eat food, but now I'm remembering one time where there was a donut with pink frosting and I ate that.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely got to be like a good thing, a good metaphor. I feel
Yeah, it was
it can't
that.
all be bad.
No, that dream was about enjoying pleasure, like having pleasure.
The
And
cherry on top of life.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I can see it. I can see a big dream donut now,
Yeah.
sprinkles
Yeah,
and
it
all.
was cream filled, and oh, it was just so delicious. So delicious.
Yeah, every now and then you get those hyper vivid dreams where you're like, this feels more like I'm in a memory, or I just like a body hopped into a parallel self, at some point. I kind of feel like dreams are the thoughts of all of your other lives, maybe. I'm working on a lot of theories of what are dreams.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I'm thinking is like, what if they're the thoughts of the other versions of me out and about?
Yeah, why couldn't it be? It definitely could be.
And then at that
And
point, what is a thought?
I know, I know. Who are we even?
And that's when I turn to Reddit.
Let me tell you, people, what I'm going through.
I think we all have to have a good place to esoterically express ourselves. But yeah, I know there's so many just like dream elements, and I'm sure you can probably relate to just like driving a car in a dream. I don't really have nightmares, but I do have car dreams that where I'm out of control in the car, or the car is stuck going 70 miles an hour, and I'm like racing around my neighborhood trying to park in my driveway, and I just keep missing it, just having to loop and loop. But yeah. And then once you
Boy,
start thinking of it, you just keep remembering more and more.
yeah. The looping, I've had that in dreams too. And it's like trying to figure out, all right, where in life do I keep having this pattern? Where am I keep circling around to this thing and not figuring it out, not landing it? So I'm sure
Yeah.
you'll figure that out.
Yeah, it's been really cool to, as I meditate, use my thoughts to anchor a direction. Like if I want to tune into, for example, like dragons, I kind of think of a dragon, just kind of like however it comes in my mind, and then that becomes like my access point for jumping off into a vision world of that specific frequency. And I'm starting to do that more when I'm dreaming as well. So it's like the practice translates very well to your waking and your dreaming life.
I need to hear about this. Tell me this from start to finish.
Okay. Everything I say, I feel for myself is in one ear and out the other. So I might have already forgotten what I said. I'm probably always channeling some type of information. So when you practice, it's like my way to kind of practice lucid dreaming. So, for example, when I am sitting here focusing on, for example, we can say anything like a cheeseburger. The cheeseburger is my access point to my frequency of whatever would be open to a cheeseburger. You know what I mean? There's like you. I think you told me this last time we spoke, but you will only be open to the things that your frequency allows. You can't access the things of the other frequencies if you're already currently at one frequency. So you can dial it in like a radio, and I've been doing that in my brain, like using it, like holding the one metaphor, one item until I'm satisfied and I find the one that gives me the most joy. And it might be a cheeseburger with a cherry on top based on what we're talking about today. It changes in the moment. But yeah, and I've just been connecting that to my feeling centers. So, like the other day, I was meditating and I had that feeling of excitement you get when you see something shiny on the ground and you go, ooh, what's that? I need to look under there. And I remember in my vision meditation thing, I was like on a street and I just like kept wanting to dig in the ground. Like there was something very specific in the ground I was looking for. And I was like, of course, meditating with dragon spirits. And hopefully they were teaching me a lesson. But they were just like trying to hopefully make me find that like magnetic joy inside my guts to kind of point me to shiny objects on the ground spiritually in a way, because that's kind of the way I like to grow myself. I call myself a cosmic citizen. So I don't really have a goal as a cosmic astral citizen. I just like to do everything that's potentially cool and shiny in the dream and astral realms.
I love that. And a cosmic citizen, that is that to me, that feels like freedom. Like,
Yeah, like you can whiz from planet to planet.
yeah. Okay. So I was loving that visualization of a cheeseburger.
Yes,
And
okay. We can meditate
so,
on the cheeseburger.
okay. So you would visualize a cheeseburger, and
Mm-hmm.
then that becomes like a visual that you, yeah, kind of
Yeah,
connect the
okay,
pieces for me.
so the frequency for me is, I guess, I get so much sensory data from like that cheeseburger. So like the color of the cheeseburger, the smell of the cheeseburger. All of that is like opening gateways and channels in my mind, I feel, to just like let things start rushing through. And so it might create a scene, like the cheeseburger might start being attached to a hand, and the hand might be in a diner, and I might be at like a McDonald's in the 80s all of a sudden. And now I feel like I might be remote viewing the past from a cheeseburger's perspective. That has happened, I felt like many times. But other times the cheeseburger might fade away and it might turn into a completely different setting. The cheeseburger was just the access password. And then now I'm in like a castle dungeon kind of vision where I would not have gotten there otherwise had I not sat down and like focused. And I think the same thing happens a lot with music. Like you might sit down and sing a song, and because you sang that song, you're going to access different meditations and dreams than had you not done that before you went to bed. So like it helps you set your intention really well when you use imagery, music, smelling, like scents and oils. But my brain's very bouncy, so I have to like train it like a dog to like look at the right things. So for example, like dragons, that's one I always think is cool as an anchor point. So now I have a lot of dragon frequencies because I've turned to the dragons when I'm happy. I've turned to them when I've been sad. I've turned to them when I'm curious and artsy. So different kind of like dragony frequencies come to me in those different mood states, but each of them gets anchored and tied in my subconscious to a different type of like dragon form sometimes. So that's what I'm working on now, is consciously creating that system in my brain.
Wow. Okay. I get it now. And I think that's a great way to introduce people to channeling or even just visualization when they don't have any experience, because that is something that I hear a lot, is that it's hard for people to visualize. It's hard to imagine certain things. Oh,
Yes.
I can totally imagine that cheeseburger.
Good. Yeah, I think it's I fall into the trap also of thinking I have aphantasia and thinking like when I close my eyes, like I'm not getting like movies in my head, per se. But that's not always true, There always is a little something in the back of my head that's like on a beach somewhere, or maybe like in a forest, or and you just might feel this as a medium yourself. There's just a part of you that's always pulled away to another place and time. And
Mhm.
sometimes it comes in really strong, and sometimes it's a whiff and it's just very faint in the background. But you don't really ever get rid of it. So I've just been trying to tune into that specifically, but focus it in the back of my spine and in like my pineal gland area.
Interesting. So so now does this fit in to how you've been teaching yourself to lucid dream, or is that a different process?
The lucid dreaming, I think, is best when I write it down in the term of journaling, like dream journaling, because that trains the brain. Whenever I experience something full and cool, I now have a thing in my brain that goes, you want to record this, you want to save this, you might need to wake up soon. And so that kind of triggers more of a tool to use to start to manipulate the dream. But it's hard. It's very hard for me to change the walls and the scenery, but I can change my mood. I can like notice that I am me. And then I can all of a sudden like stop caring about what's in the dream, and I can start to like walk around a little bit more. And that just made me feel better as like a person in the real world, being able to have that control when you're sleeping feels so much better during the sunlight hours, I feel.
Ah, oh, I gotta pick your brain on that one. Don't let me forget. But
Okay.
I want to ask you, okay, so when you're in a dream and you realize, oh, I'm in a dream, I can do what I want. Like, do you have a goal, or do you just have fun? Like, what's the deal there?
It's different if I'm like looping, right? If I'm like running in a circle and I notice I'm running in a circle in some capacity, I'll usually stop the cycle, notice I'm repeating something, and then like that alone solves the subconscious thing to be like, you might be repeating something in life, Marcus. And then it all kind of fades away. So that's a little different when you notice a habit in the dream. But then there's things that are like I am actively, someone has entered my dream and I am now alert, whether it's a ghost, whether it's a spirit, whether it's another being or a person from my subconscious. That usually activates me when someone else steps into the room that's not a family member. Because pretty much consistently, my family, my parents, and everyone is like in the back of my dreams all the time. Like they're 100% with me in the dream world. So when there's like a random person I know standing in the dream, that is a clue to me that something's strange. And lately, people have been popping in where they don't belong. Like I've been in my bedroom and someone just showed up once. And I remember getting kind of aggressive and like throwing them some dream punches just to be like, you don't belong here. You got to get out of here. And so my active self was the one willing the command, you need to go. I don't want this anymore. And then the dream came up with the punches, basically, came out with the shooing him out the door kind of way. So there's kind of been more of an opportunity to be the voice of God, I guess, in the dreams is the best way to say it.
Wow.
I don't know if you
Ah,
lucid dream like that. Tell me.
no, I don't. And I don't really spend too much time working on it. I mean, there's a lot of different things that I develop and sharpen on my own, but I don't practice that. So that's why I'm so interested. It's so
Okay, yeah.
fun.
I love it. I love it. It's just
Yeah.
like so much of our life is spent dreaming and spent sleeping. And I paid for the whole life. So I would like to remember the whole life. I'm here
Yeah.
100%. So give me my memories. Give me it all. I don't like being having secrets hidden from me or stones to unturn. I feel like we should all be so much further along with our own spiritual growth as a human species, just because like nervous system regulation isn't even taught in schools. So it's like, how can we even begin to do dream analysis on a grand scale when we all don't even know how to feel our feelings?
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely an important part is feeling.
Yeah. And that's what
Okay.
I've been struggling with learning my whole life, feeling my feelings. So it's been a journey.
Yeah. I think everybody needs to do it, and only few of us really do the work that it takes to get there.
Yeah. I think everyone has very different brains and tools and metaphors that they'll use to get to the same truth, just about like who you are as a soul.
Yeah.
So I love watching everyone have their own practice. And it's been cool to practice so many things that you get to weave together what it is to be human, through everyone trying to be human.
Okay. So what was that thing that that you were supposed to remind me
Oh,
about?
oh yeah. Shoot, I have a journal right here. I'm not even using it. Was it about using your subconscious mind to train your day-to-day mind to be happier and better because you get to, I don't know, have more mastery over your own mind? For me, it's all about like mastery over my thoughts, my emotions, and my feelings for regulation purposes. So doing it in a dream makes me feel very confident and very stable in the day-to-day world.
Oh, okay. So one of the effects or one of the benefits is that you build your confidence. I like that.
Yeah, your autonomy, your confidence, your willpower, things that I would definitely associate with your solar plexus chakra. If
Mhm.
you want to go and talk about chakra points, which I always love.
Same. That's one of my favorite things to look for in dreams is which chakra or chakras are showing up and speaking through the dream. It's a beautiful layer of a dream that most people don't even think about.
Yeah, I think you can have a full conversation with someone just in color. And I have had dreams before like that. And I've had dreams with someone where we've just been numbers before, So
Yeah.
it's like you do not need English or your mouth to communicate when there are so many beautiful variants of scale out there. Color is a frequency scale from green to blue to purple to red. Sound is a frequency scale from the lowest note on the piano to the highest note. So it's every organ of your body is tuned to be a different type of piano in a way. So you just need to know what a D is and what that means to your body, to your body's ecosystem. But what does
Mhm.
that, D on the piano translate to with your eyeballs, with your ears, with your nose? Some people are really good with their taste, sense of taste. So all of that is a palette. And I love palettes because you get to refine them. And the more diverse your palette and your tool set, I think the better. Like we said, you just have more tools during your day to day life.
Well, that reminds me of something that I want to ask you if you've ever experienced this or practiced it. But I had this dream one time that I was not remote viewing, but remote tasting.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so in the dream, I was in one room and then someone was in another room and they were eating something. And I was to figure out what that was by tasting it in my mouth. And
Mm-hmm.
while the other person was eating it, and so the other person was eating ice cream, and then I could taste it in my mouth, and I knew, I was like, "Oh, you're eating ice cream." So I
Interesting.
yeah.
Definitely a Claire that not many people I feel like talk about. Claire
I
glossary something that probably
Yeah,
Claire
it is.
glossic.
It does have some kind of name like that. And
Because I
so
know
I
Claire
was,
salient is of the nose. So yeah, that's wonderful. Wow.
yeah. So do
Have you
you?
tried to do that in person yet with someone?
No, I haven't. I don't know
Oh,
why.
you totally could. There's restaurants, right? Dinner restaurants that are dark and they feed you by the darkness and blindfold you so you can get the most sensory experience from the food. So that's what that reminded me of.
Oh, I should try that.
Oh yeah. If you especially if you like strawberries and chocolates, like very fragrant foods, hopefully. Nothing bad.
Yeah. Have you ever seen, I'm going to go off topic again, but have you ever seen shows where people do that and they literally can't tell the difference between, let's say, a strawberry and a piece of bread?
Oh my goodness. I've never seen anyone that bad not be able to identify, but that's understandable, I guess. But you gotta have some sense about you with the being able to identify foods. I guess like that to me is like a nature skill. You need to be able to smell your food and identify if it's got mold on it or if it's bacteria, if it's good in the fridge or if it's been a while. So to me, a human who can't identify food is not going to make it too far in
They're in
terms of
trouble.
the wild. Yes. God bless them. I'm trying to think if I've ever eaten anything in a dream or tasted anything in a dream or
Well,
smelled it.
but even further than that, what I really wanted to know, and obviously, yeah, tell me about that, but also, do you dream about any of the clairs? Do you dream about super, psychic abilities and things like that, and you're practicing it in the dream?
Mm. I think yes, and I'm not allowed to remember it all. I think my higher self practices with me every day, and
Mhm.
I think I'm not allowed to remember on purpose most of the stuff we talk about, or it's so deep in the brain that I can't even remember it anyways. So that being said, yes, but because we work a lot with symbology, and I believe that numbers would be considered like a clear
Mhm.
cognizant ability,
Yeah.
like thoughts and numbers and mathematics. So I definitely think we practice in the dreams. I have not been like a wizard in my dreams yet, unfortunately, like with the full magic staff and like the full lightning. But I remember one dream where I was standing next to someone who was irritating me, probably like an ex or something. And I remember rolling my eyes and looking out the window and lightning crashed, just like full weather magic, just went boom, crash. And I was like, wow, I am really like my emotions really do control the weather. So I've been playing with that a lot in terms of weather magic out in the real world. But I haven't been able to like I guess there's a lot of telepathy that happens in the dreams because I'm sending a lot of not words back and forth, but images and concepts and thoughts back and forth. So I think I've been practicing my telepathy. Um, in terms of preparing for speaking with people in my mind. Um,
Oh, yeah.
it's just also ephemeral, also incorporeal for me. Um, that like I'll wake up and I'll see 333, a.m. on the calendar on the clock, and I'll go to bed and I'll go to bed in the vibe of three, and I'll enter this world of three, the symbol three, and it's
Oh,
crazy because I've entered into worlds of concepts before, and it almost feels like I am helping them define what three means on this end of the 3D realm. They're in the astral plane, like with the bigger concept. So, like, it's happened before with wine and alcohol where I've had to like communicate with them, like, this is what the truth of alcohol is, but this is what the truth is not. It's not these shadows. It's not control, loss of control. It's not, alcoholism and addiction. Like those are shadows casted onto whatever this truth is. And then I like file it over like a librarian. I don't know
Mm.
how to describe this, but it's I
Hmm.
call it contexting, where we just go through life's many objects and concepts, and we just give more explanation for the subconscious back and forth. So it is a dialogue.
Yeah, sounds like you're doing some interesting work on the other side.
I'm certainly going to work every night, whether I want to or not. I have a lot of dream jobs, so I don't know if I'm getting paid for all of them, but I am working every night.
Yeah. I love what you said about numbers. You mentioned numbers a couple times, and I'm literally working on a video right now just about the number nine. And
Oh, okay.
yeah, I
Yeah.
would love to hear your perspective on the number nine. Have you ever gone into the nine world?
Of course. So I like to do tarot, right, as well. So I think a lot about like the numbers symbolically in the journey of tarot. So for me, nine is the opposite of six. In the term of six would be going into the spiral and beginning to start your loop and become recursive. Nine for me is leaving the spiral and on your way to 10, right, which would be your rounded quality, maybe that would lead you to completion. So nine to me is such an important part of the process because it's what happens right before you accomplish your goal. And that's a tough spot for a lot of projects and a lot of relationships too. So nine is one that also is like a 369 kind of one as well, which I know that there's a lot of math when it comes to the tries. But yeah, and then personally, I love nines because their multiplication is so fun. So this is would be what I would give in my dream if I was talking to nine. I'd say when I was in school, I learned that 9 times 3 is 27, but 2 plus 7 of the 27 is 9. 36, 9 times 4, 3 plus 6 is 9. So I love nines for that specific reason, and that's what I would give the giant nine symbol metaphor in my dream as a little fun tidbit fact to hopefully be like a fun little sacrifice to be like, I hope you enjoyed this energy. Please bring me back here sometime. And I just did that actually in meditation about Father's Day. I gave some of my thoughts about fathers to the dragon that I was talking to Father's Day about and kind of shared some concepts of what I love about the day. So I don't know. Is that kind of like a good answer for nine?
Yes, of course. And it fits so well with one of the things that I was talking about in that video. What you said was that you think about the six and the nine as opposite, and you described them. In the video, I talk about the geometry of just how the number looks. And
Mm,
I pretty much said what you said. The six is it's the open loop is pointed up to the cosmos, it's like up to the higher realms, but the closed loop, the cycles, the patterns, the repeating is down here on earth. And so it's like
yeah.
you came here to overcome those cycles, whereas the nine is flipped the other way around, and it says you've you're basically finishing that cycle right now. You can do that right now. And that exactly is how you pointed out. That's the most difficult place to be because you're right at that point, and there's a lot riding
Yeah.
on it. So there's a lot of
Yeah.
screw ups.
Yeah, and that just made me feel like how eight, eight is obviously the infinity loop, abundance number. So it's almost like nine is like getting a little scoop of heaven and bringing it
Yeah.
back down to earth because you
Oh,
can't keep it yourself. If you keep it yourself, you're just stuck in heaven in the crown chakra. That's no good. We've all met those people. So you have to, bring your goodies like Jack and the Beanstalk. He got the golden egg and then he brought it down. So maybe that's a good way to also think about 8 to 9. But now I'm
yeah.
thinking about numbers, and 7 is a checky bounce of energy where it's like you were going this way, now you're going that way. And I think that's beautiful after 6. Maybe we've uncovered my favorite 6, 7, 8, and 9, but I love them all. Don't make me
Okay.
choose.
Well, that means we are going to have to do a whole other conversation on just entering the realms of numbers and just interacting with them and hearing about the adventures.
Please, I do numbers, I do elements, like earth, water, wind, and fire, and more. There's so much that the brain wants to just talk about, I think, and it
Yeah.
wants to talk to you about it. Your brain wants to talk to you about all this stuff. At least mine does. So we chat. We go back and forth in meditation, and it's possible now. I think
Yeah.
I've had some bridges be built.
Yeah. Well, what I found is when we're in the dreaming state, we are absolute geniuses, just
Yeah,
geniuses. Like sometimes I say the smartest things in dreams that I have no idea. Like I would never be able to say it that way in waking
I agree.
life.
I bring out the thesaurus. I start using big word. I'll wake up at 4 a.m. and I'll say something like, the Procopules of the Sinastrum is quite dilapidated today. Like, but it'll all be like probably real words, maybe. And I'll be like, what was I saying? Was I giving a lecture or something? So yeah, you're right. No, we're geniuses in there. There's no stops to us. And I think that's the beauty of being human is like there's really no limitations to what we can do, except for
Yeah.
what we put on ourselves. And they
Yeah.
show up in our dreams. All those limitations, they're there,
Yeah.
presented.
Yeah. We're definitely our own limiters.
Yeah. I think the worst, thing they taught us is to never use our imagination as adults. Because imagine if you have, bad dreams and you imagine yourself with like a sword of Excalibur. We'll go King Arthur here. You can then take that sword with you into the dream and kick some ass. Like no
Mhm.
one's gonna stop you. So that alone is like enough to maybe cure someone's depression, just knowing that you have options. You certainly don't have to just not like live an entire world where you don't have fun in your own mind and can't build a dialogue with your imagination because it's a creative tool. It wants to build something new for you every day that you've never seen before.
Absolutely. And it's there as a tool to help you live your life to
That's the
do that.
medication I want.
Hmm.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yep. I had a podcast a few months back where one of my students, of course, that graduated from that dream class, she did one of my dreams for me. And in it, I had a second cousin who had sort of showed up in my dreams quite often. And the dynamic was that she made fun of me, or kind of like, I always felt like she tried to make me feel like she was better than me. But of course, we know that's my own insecurity, but it's not that person's insecurity. But
Yeah.
anyway, she said, "Oh, go back into the dream and change it because that's what I learned too." Like that's a common technique that Carl Jung,
Technique. Yeah.
yeah, talked about. So anyway, I was like, "Oh yeah, why didn't I even think about that?" So in the dream, I was refusing to fight in a judo match. And I said, "Oh, I'm too old for that. And, it hurts or whatever, something like that." And so she said, "Why don't you go back in that and go in that judo match and fight?" So I said, "Oh, yeah, okay." So I did. And then I also did this little technique that came to me in a dream some time ago as well to help with shadow work. So I did that. It was a real quick technique, like 5 minutes. And I
Yeah.
never really thought much more about it. But my dreams, and I think everybody's dreams, always show them the progress when you do that kind of work. So it's
Yeah.
like I said, it's been a couple months, but a couple nights ago, that person showed up in my dreams again, and this time she was very kind, very helpful to me, very accommodating. And somebody asked me, "Oh, what do you think about that person?" And I said, "Oh, I have a few complaints, but overall, the way that she's acting, I think it's really great." So
Wow.
that,
And they do ask you that in the dream. They do just full up ask you questions about how you feel. That's
yeah,
wonderful.
exactly. Yeah. And so I was like,
Oh,
okay, well, it looks like I closed that loop or almost totally closed that loop. And that thing has been with me my whole life.
oh my goodness. That's amazing. I think that is a really good way to not only just control a situation, but to set intentions and maybe even manifest a little bit of good things coming forward. Because that alone, the more you can use your imagination to be, to bend the boundaries of reality, the more you're going to create a more whimsical intention for like your life. I don't know. So that made me think about how I've been kind of using my mind to reset my mind frame, because it's the same principle at work, right? Go back into the dream and go back in with better intentions. Same thing is happening when I am sitting in this room and I wanted to go to the next room. I can set an intention now to have a good time in that next room. That no matter what will happen in the next room I go into, I will be in a state of gratitude. I will be, curious. I will be, on my best behavior, whatever. Like you can literally practice that from room to room in your life, from place to place, and you'll start manifesting hopefully some really cool things, because the more you're ready and just relax in each space you go to, that alone can help you come up with brand new ideas of how to have fun and how to change the space to the better. And you are the most powerful person in your reality. Like you are the one who can bring things in and take things away. And dreams help you see that in the more fantastical, judo matches of the world. But my dad had a dream where he was cleaning the toilet the other week, and he said, "Marcus, in the dream, I was cleaning the toilet and I didn't know how to get down there, and there was a voice in my head. It said, 'You know how to do it. You know what to do.'" His higher self. And he said, So he thought about it. And then he shrunk his body down. He took the scrub brush, he took the bottle of soap, he shrunk himself down, and he fully cleaned Alice in Wonderland style. And he said, his higher self voice said, "You got it. You did it, Steve. Congratulations." So, like, the solution is truly to be flexible and to shapeshift a little, but don't have anything fixed, I guess. Anything outside of you is not fixed. You have to be the anchor.
Wow. Oh, your
He
dad
always
sounds
gets me.
amazing.
He is. He could blow your socks off with some of his stories. He's a good storyteller too.
The way I see that is so there's a layer of dreams, and all you have to do is look for it. It's in almost every dream. There's a layer that is about your body and what's going on in there. And some people can like okay, so if you're a practitioner and you're doing energy work or whatever, and you're working on someone, you can shrink your awareness or shrink yourself down and actually go into their body and look at things. Well,
Yes.
that's what we do in our dreams too. We shrink down in our body and we see things, and those kinds of images or scenes that when our dream is talking about that are often really weird nonsense, like blobs of red jelly underneath a white pole. I'm just like, and then
Yeah.
the white pole might be your bone and the red jelly might be your blood or something like that. So
Yeah. You're like hyper zoomed in. No, I
yeah.
think the only way that we've ever accurately described it is with animation. And you could probably have an entire, side series about animation that is inspired by dreams or inspires dreams, starting with Disney Fantasia, Salvador Dali. How do you even represent that world? A lot of people these days will use like Chat GPT to describe their dreams too, and then it can make a nice picture. That's controversial these days. But I do love the fact that like everyone can become an artist in the sense of saying like I dreamed something I cannot even describe. Oh no, this is exactly what it looked like. And then we can begin to show that to people and say, hey, I had that dream too. Like, are you on the mall world subreddit?
Oh, yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, I'm like,
Those Mar
oh,
world people. I've been in many a mall, in many a dream, but I don't know if it's been the mall world. But
yeah,
they sound like they're having an awful time there. I do. My heart goes out.
yeah.
I've been in many similar settings for sure.
Okay, well, so I want to know, for wrapping it up, I want to know what is your favorite subreddit? And I had this other question, which I completely
Okay.
forgot. Oh, it was in a subreddit. Anyway, what is your favorite subreddit?
Okay, so it used to be, and it still is, the crochet subreddit for crochet communities. It's one of the most healthiest, non-toxic, non-dramatic places on the internet. We love to share our crochet. But lately, I've been, you know how you just get random notifications from random subreddits every now
Yeah.
and then? I've been seeing this fierce flow. It's about men with long hair and they're growing out their hair and they're like, hey guys, does my hair look okay? All my friends think I should cut my hair. And it's like, no, you guys look gorgeous. You look like princes and you're like, y'all have good manes. And it's just like a lot of positivity as well. So I love that one right now. It's been put in my face.
Oh my gosh. No, I've never heard of that, but that is hilarious. Okay, so I
What is
just,
your favorite subreddit?
oh my God. Well, I mean, besides velvet hippos,
I need to check this out.
yeah, it's cute. I really just like to look at dogs and how cute they are. But I'm trying to think of one that just is just like a guilty pleasure.
Yeah,
It's
there's a
probably,
mother-in-law subreddit. There's a fondant hating one, people who hate cake fondant.
oh my gosh, that's, my Reddit name.
Yeah, oh yeah, fondant. Ah. Yes,
um,
alone fondant. That's true.
yes. And I was gonna say we should say our Reddit name so people can see us.
Oh yes, mine is Mark the Narc.
Mark.
Who knows how long that's been there? Probably for 15 years or more. But it's just I'm a little sleepy, a little narcoleptic sometimes, as the dreaming comes into play.
Okay, I remembered my favorite, my guilty pleasure subreddit. This is
Oh,
so
which was it?
stupid. It's moldy interesting.
Oh, is that scientific mold? Like people
Yes,
posting
it's
their mold?
yes.
I'm looking it up. I'm looking it up right now. Oh, I love that.
And so whenever I'm walking around and then I'll see something moldy, I think, oh my gosh, I need to take a picture and share that with everybody.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, I love these communities. I'm also a big fan of what is this thing where people just post something they don't know what about. And
Yes,
there's always someone who knows.
I know. You don't have to Google anything anymore these days. You just go on Reddit.
I think so. For now, at least. For now. I think it's a good
Actually,
platform.
name this thing is the first thing. I just opened it and it's the first thing that shows up and it says name this cut and it's somebody's crazy haircut.
Oh my goodness. See, we're on the synchronicities again. The channel
Yep.
is open. Oh, well, it's been great talking with you. I'm always happy to talk anytime. I have so much more visions. I've got spaceship visions. I've got aliens. I've got dragons. It just fun continues.
Okay, well, it sounds like we have the makings of a series, so let's not let there be much time before we talk again, okay?
Absolutely. Sounds good.
Okay, sending lots of loving energy your way. Yeah. Okay, I'll talk to you later.
Okay, thank you. Have a great rest of your night and talk to you soon.
Bye bye, you too.